from Bicycle Games, and we get to look at the alpha today. You don't know how much this excites me because I love wolves more than you know. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the alpha, Kyle?
Yes, Steph, this is the alpha, and I'm looking how you have it there set up from a hand standpoint. But the alpha is kind of a light game for family, adults. It's really kind of a great game you can play with people who love board games, but also, your family or friends who, they only play once a year, or they just kind of getting into the hobby. But the purpose of the alpha, you have a pack of wolves, and the goal is to kind of get the most food and become the alpha pack in the game. Would you like me to just kind of walk through here? I kind of see I have hands set up down there.
Tell us about how everything is working here.
Okay, so the goal is to get food, and so each person has a wolfle. You can see that on the screen. And there's a kind of a score tracking. The board is how you try to kind of track score. You actually start on 5. So if we put a couple, I'll be the neon green and put one token from each color out there.
Yeah.
And now
because you
in the game,
3 to 5 players, right, to play this?
Yep. So let's do 3. We can kind of talk through it that way.
Yeah.
So to play, you have the one wolf that's kind of tracking score, but then you also have 5 little beta wolves, which are kind of one wolf, and then you have a alpha wolf, which has worth 2 points in value. And the game goes for 5 rounds, and there's 2 phases to each round. In the first phase, each player starts to put their wolves on the different animals surrounding the board. So if somebody would like to put my wolf on the fish, one wolf for me, and then we can kind of put the other players out there as well. So one goes up to the bison. One goes up to the caribou. I'm going to put my next one on the bison as well. When you do put a wolf at the very top, so the big animals, your score actually goes down 1 for every time you put it out. So since I just put one in the bison, my token on the scoreboard should actually go back to 4. And I think that was the green player or that also went out there.
Yep.
As well. So, okay. And so we just go around the table, putting all of our wolves on different animals. Now, all the wolves up top are worth a lot more potentially. And then the bottom wolves are kind of lower in value. So it's kind of a risk reward type of a play here. Is it my turn again? So we'll put one on the beaver.
Yeah, so the bigger the animal, the more food you could possibly collect. But only if you get the majority, right?
Yep. So your goal is to get the most wolves in an area, and then you have a chance to compete for that food. Now, what'll happen if there are ties, and actually it's my turn again, so put one on, put another one on the beaver for me. So the goal is to get the most wolves in an area, but if there's a tie, we're going to have this mechanic called fight or share. So it's like Prisoner's Dilemma. And we could fight, and neither one of us gets food. One could fight, and one could share, and we all get, the person who fought gets all the food. And if both people share, they split the food. So there's kind of another kind of risk-reward component here. So we're almost done. Throw my next wolf on the deer, I guess.
Livestock.
Or the bison. Throw it on the bison. Throw it on the bison.
There's already 3 dark green there.
There we go.
But
So what you see in this game is all the animals are actually hand painted in this game by a park ranger in the UK. So
Nice.
the really kind of beautiful game. And then I want to force some ties here. So we see all the mechanics on the game. So put my last token. Am I tied on fish? It's hard to see.
Sorry. No, you're
Is it
not
one?
tied on the fish. You have
Okay.
one, and red has two.
Okay. Go and put my alpha wolf on the fish. And somebody should intentionally tie me on the fish just so we can demonstrate fight share. Part of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So, and
Do you
so
have
I
to
think
place
everybody
your
just has
alpha?
the one wolf left.
You want to. It's a value of 2 wolves, so you'll get more presence.
Yeah. And then I think we have one player left. Somebody should put on a bison or something because there is a.
He really wanted that bison.
The big animals, sometimes you have to have a minimum of 4 wolves on there to even have a chance to win that food. So, okay, so that's the conclusion, kind of the first part of the phase. And now we go one animal by one animal. And is that the hare, the very first one in the bottom left?
Yep.
Are there any wolves on there?
Yep.
Yes, there's 2 green and 2 brown.
Okay, so we have a tie here. And what happens in a tie is first we roll the die. So if somebody wants to roll the yellow die, and this will tell us how many food they can potentially get. And what did we get there?
2.
2. So then in this scenario, the green and the brown player will each grab their fight or share token.
Okay.
And then they will secretly choose to fight or share. So compete your left hand versus your right hand here. Oh, they both fought. So actually nobody gets the food. And each of you have to put a wolf in the injured area of the game board.
Ooh.
So there's kind of this consequence that both of you fought and nobody got the food. So now we kind of continue around the board for all the different animals. So we'll just do one more here.
Okay.
So we'll roll the die for, I can't, is that the fish?
The fish, yeah, which is another tie.
Yeah. Yeah, so
You
let's
might
roll the
want to
dice
roll
on the
for
fish.
the beaver instead. The beaver has a high pair of 2 wolves and 2 wolves and then 1 wolf.
That,
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's roll the beaver.
Okay.
Aye.
C3.
C3. So this is kind of a carry on. So what happens on this one is we're potentially fighting for 3 food, and the beaver is actually 2-sided. So after this turn, it's actually going to flip over.
Okay.
And it's going to be carry on is kind of like a dead animal that scavengers can come after. And then the 2 people who are tied will do the fight share. So is it green? Yep.
Green and
So
blue.
we'll really fight share.
So green decided to fight and blue decided to share.
So in this case, the green gets all the food. So you move the token, the green token, that 3 spaces on the board.
Okay.
So in this game, you just kind of continue to go around animal by animal, and then you do this for 5 rounds. So the game typically plays in 30 to 45 minutes. It doesn't take a super long, but you know, if you start to get behind in the game, people will start to go after those really high value animals. There's always a chance to come back to win. It's kind of super family friendly game. that just came out. It's in stores online right now.
Yeah, what I always go to the livestock space. I've played this a few times, and I go to the livestock space because I really like to push my luck, and I could just die right out in the livestock space. So I lose my wolves one at a time. So every round I get fewer wolves because I don't roll very well.
Yeah, so she's referring to the livestock, which it's the only animal where there's 3 Ds on it, where if you can get 12 points, 3 points, or you can die.
You could die.
So it's a very high risk reward.
12 points. Yeah. That's my favorite space.
So, but super kind of easy game to play. And we're super excited about this new game this summer.
May I ask what happens?
Yeah.
Sorry. May I ask what happens to the one wolf that was not involved in the fight for the fish, but had placed on that board? Does he go back?
Yeah, so there's a couple different scenarios. So you can get pretty complex, but in this scenario, if 2 fight, the 2 that fought get injured, and then you can distribute if there was like a third one, they get some of the food.
Ah, okay.
So it's kind of this, it's nice to be second sometimes.
And for the injured heel, do they just...
If everybody's fighting, then the leftovers get... The people who are just staying behind, they can just get...
Yeah. Yeah, so your injured wolf is injured for 1 round.
Okay.
And then the next round you're healing, but you're actually at a disadvantage for that next round. So when you're putting your wolves around the different regions, hunting the different animals, if you got an injured wolf, there's a pretty big consequence if you fight and lose, and then the other person fights.
And scavenging is just a guaranteed one?
Yep, it's kind of a low value. If you're super conservative, sometimes if you're in the lead and you're trying to, just get a couple more points, and that forces the other players to go more of a risky strategy to try to catch up.
Okay.
I will mention this game, and I'll put a link in the chat. This game is available for people to try on Tabletopia if you want to check it out.
Oh, nice. So this was the alpha from Bicycle Games. Thank you, Kyle, for showing us how that push your luck game works.